It's just about 36 minutes after the hour of 6 o'clock on this beautiful Friday morning. I'm Kimberly D'Souza and you are on the Now Morning Show. Now it's World Earth Day, a day when people come together to raise awareness about environmental protection and acknowledge the global climate crisis. Now one of the ways we can protect the earth is by upcycling old products. And our next guest is going to tell us just how she upcycles old tires for a fun new purpose. Yes, I did say purpose, and you'll find out why in a few minutes. So, of course, with me, joining me is the Creative Director of Creative Vision. I have Miss Aliyah Amanda Ali. Miss Ali, good morning, and thank you so much for joining us on Now.
Good morning, and you're most welcome, and thank you for inviting us to join you for this beautiful morning, Earth Day.
Now, Miss Ali, I told them about this amazing purpose that we have here. So tell me, you use the, you actually upcycle the old tires.
Yes,
for what reason? Because I'm seeing some things on set here right now.
The vision of our foundation takes care of rescued and sanctuary house animals and wildlife. So we help Earth. We sell the tires, and the profits of our social entrepreneurship fund the needs of the rescue and sanctuary. We have long-term residents who are critically endangered tortoises and turtles, as well as agouti. And we also help exotic animals, guinea pigs and rabbits, and dogs and cats. And as you would know, during the pandemic, most of our public-facing income was cut because of the closures. We couldn't go to schools and do our normal outreach programs where we either get funding or sponsorship. And we really needed to take care of our babies. And there's a green space opposite our property, and a lot of domestic animals were dumped while families were in transition or going through difficulties. So we went from 54 animals to 104 animals in 6 months. And thank you to Trinidad and Tobago and people reaching out to us when they saw our product. They would buy our tires, and sometimes people would sponsor a tire for another rescue, because part of our mandate of our Phoenix Paws and Claws Rescue and Sanctuary Unit is to support other individual rescuers who may not be an NGO or business entity or registered animal NGOs.
Right. Now tell me about the tires that we're seeing here on set.
Okay, so these are tires that have been repurposed. We drive around to 5 or 6 tire shops in our area around Arima. We try to be efficient in the sense that it's on the days that we do errands. We pass on the tire shops, and if they have used tires that will go to the dump, we come out. They know us. They are happy to see us. They allow us to take any that we require to do our product. The other director of the foundation, who happens to be my husband, he does 3 processes of sanitizing the tires, cutting the tires, and doing the 2 first layers of paint. I design, choose the colors and fabric, coordinate the colors, put all the decorative paint in. And my mother, who is the chairman of the foundation, who's a retired interior decorator and landscape artist, she's the stitcher. So my husband and I do all the cutting. It's a joint effort of the 3 executive directors of the foundation.
And of course, a family business.
Yes, yes, and we are not for profit.
Yes.
We're an indigenous founded and run foundation. My mother's actually Wara Carib descendant. And some of the animals that we have are inherited from the elders that were rescued around their properties that are on the edge of the forest. And some of the tortoises that we look after are older than I am. Oh. And I'll be 49 next month.
So that is saying something.
Yes.
So with these tires now, these are for dogs and cats or other animals or other pets you may want to put on them? Or
yes,
how does it work?
Well,
okay.
Most of our customers are dogs and cats,
Yes.
but there are people who would buy this for other purposes. And we're also going to take this design and make, hoping to, as we get more time, to make seats for children for their play area and their playrooms, storage by putting legs and a lid, making storage centerpieces like this. We have a lot of designs. But because we look after so many animals, the pastoral care comes first. So if we have a sick animal or an animal that needs intensive rehabilitation, we would put production on hold. We normally do them in batches of 24 to 30 pieces at a time. So in our storeroom, we would have enough. We send out the pictures on our social media so people can order. We do a new collection every year because the fabrics change, and now some people, when they realize what we're doing and It is a for-profit social entrepreneur, but it's for not for-profit purpose. People donate fabrics. So not only is the tire upcycled, but the fabrics which may otherwise be dumped or set aside that are not used are also upcycled. And the sponge that fills the pillow, because it's, may I take it out
yes,
and
you
show
can.
you?
Yes.
So it has an insert with a board inside it.
Right.
We brand the back of the board with the 3 companies that work on the product. It's the pillows are just only tacked for finishing purposes, but there's another pillow inside which can be sanitized by putting in the dryer or sprayed. And this outer fabric is a very durable sheeting fabric like bed sheets.
Right.
So this can take multiple washing at all times. So you can have very clean, lovely pets in your home.
This is amazing. Now, when did you start this part of the project?
In 2020, after we did hampers under the Foundation for Elders and Daily Paid Workers who went into complete hissy fit because of the closures and they couldn't feed their families. For the first month, we looked after families, and as soon as we knew those families were okay for that first month, because we work in climate risk, high-risk communities, outlying communities like Waiwayari, and I look after personally through the foundation over 17 elders that are over 87 years old. And even though they were well taken care of, when their children lost their work, even if it was daily paid, and they have to pay rent or buy medicals, they couldn't sustain it. So our little food basket was a token of helping them to survive those tough times at that time and put things in place. So we went into pre-production actually in February, which was before the
pandemic.
Yes.
Okay.
So we had 24 tires already lined up in my back garage, which is my painting studio.
Yes.
And we did hampers collections for the end of March, because we were looking in and thinking we would have closures coming quickly. And at the end of April, we went into production. We joined the yard market in July. We sold online from the end of April 2020 to July of 2020. And then we were invited to join another green project with Mr. Umardat Miraj at Yard Market. We were the first entrepreneurs that joined there, and TTT actually featured us in 2020 with this project. And since then, every year around the end of April to the first week of May, which is the anniversary of the foundation, we launch a new
collection. What has the response been thus far?
So far it's been amazing. We've actually been asked to send it to Germany and France and a few other places, but again, with border closures and the cost of shipping, that has not been possible yet, but we're hoping we'll be able to scale up eventually, because we want to teach the skill. And then people can come and volunteer to learn a craft. We would supply the materials, they would be part of making it, but the product would then be sold by the social entrepreneurs. So you're helping Earth, you're helping animals, which is also helping Earth, because the animals we look after, their duty in the environment are seed dispersers. Turtles and tortoises are seed dispersers. Agoutis are seed dispersers. So in our wildlife kit, those are the animals that we look after, some of the animals. And they help to create reforestation, because they eat, or agoutis hide seeds and they forget where they hide them, like squirrels.
Yes.
And they grow into trees.
Now, you mentioned that people, because it's an NGO, they sponsor items. Sometimes they'll sponsor the material and that sort of thing. What other organizations have you partnered with, or, who has supported the cause?
Well, there was a private family that were closing down an upholstery business. I honestly don't think it had a name, but they were known as this 3-generation family that were doing upholstery. The children went into other things. So when COVID hit, the parents were elderly, and they decided that they were going to close it down, and they donated a lot of fabric. So in some of our patterns, we don't have it here today, you'll actually see Trinidad and Tobago and palm trees and so on. Those were specially screen printed patterns that upholstery company made. We've had a lot of individuals on groups like Porter's Pain give and take, or where women will say, listen, we have these 5 pieces of fabric, they're 5 yards long, and I would message and say, oh, this would be great for pets. They would give us some of the fabric. We have actually donated just 1 bed so far on display, and for the pastoral care and training of one of the dogs that come into the office at TSPCA, we gave them, I started volunteering with them when I was 14 years old. Since I returned to Trinidad and got heavily involved with animals in this last 3 to 5 years, in pre-retirement, 45 to 50, I started doing house inspections for animals coming from TSPCA in Tobago. Sometimes we would work with animal welfare. They have supported us a lot during the time. You know, we took in 2 intakes of dogs. We took in 2 mother dogs that each had 9 pups. That's 20 dogs in a matter of 2 weeks. And 5 of those puppies are still in the rescue from 18. We were successful in getting 13 homes. They got all their shots and everything. So the funds from this meets the shortfall, because we lost our private incomes, because the work my husband and I do, I work with immigration, expatriates coming into the country, and my husband does export of perishables, and again with borders closed and high risk and whatnot. And then our secondary income and our primary income of the social entrepreneurship is events. Redzi the Clown, which is the other social entrepreneur that's tied into this project, go visit schools with some of those very same animals and paintings of the environment, and teach about the forest and animals.
That's amazing. Now, Miss Ali, we have a few minutes remaining, but I just wanted to know if I have a request. So, for example, I'm looking at this now and I want something for my dog, and I have an idea of the type of material I want to use. What's the process? Do I reach out to you and bring the material, or how does it work?
We usually have a collection that we would show in a catalog, and they can choose from those. If somebody wants a special order, we try to accommodate it, but sometimes fabrics are not always available. If they have a fabric and they want us to do it specifically to match, we don't have a problem with doing it. Special orders are priced different on a per job basis. If it involves logistics of us picking up or them dropping off, those things factor in, but it's usually not a problem. And usually we have quite a wide selection. There are usually 18 to 24 different color matches. And for example, you'll see there's another red tie here with a leopard print.
Yes.
We could mix and match a lot of the, so if somebody likes that cushion but they want it in a green tile, there's a lot of options. There's a little leeway
to move. And in terms of the range of prices, you can just give me a range about what something like this might cost you?
These are $450. The very largest one, the purple one in front, are $600. They were $599, but we have to round up now. So we were doing a 300 size, which was a 20-inch tire. This is 24 inches. And we had a 22, which was $375. But we're not getting those sizes of tires because, of course, you're upcycling. Excuse me. So with upcycling, you have to use the tires that you receive.
Yes, of course. Now, Miss Ali, I just have one more question for you before we close. You are a multi-hyphenated entrepreneur, right? You have the foundation, now you have this business. I mean, what was the thrust into going into all of this? Was it just your love of animals?
It's an intergenerational project. My mother's father, who is Warak, who came from the Delta Amikoro 100 and something years ago, they lived on the edge of the forest, and they helped animals who were either orphaned or injured. So I grew up, my mom started, she'll be 80 this year, she started at 7. May I have a little water?
No, of course, it's coming.
Thank you. Yeah, so she started at 7, and from 6 years old with her, if a bird was injured or something happened with an animal, we were always helping. So yes, I've had an immense passion and love for animals and wildlife, growing up, visiting every
Miss Ali, I hear your voice is about to give up, but let me just thank you so much for joining us here now. I think it's amazing the type of work that you're doing. As I said, I know you're a multi-hyphenated entrepreneur, and I see the passion that you have for the animals. We may have you back on again just to talk about something else.
It so much.
So thank you so much for joining us, Miss Ali. That was Miss Aliyah Ali from the Creative Vision, just talking about some of her upcycled tires and how you can use some of these to, you know, put your pets on in your home. So you're on the Now Morning Show. We're going to take a break and be right back. Stay with us.